No joke this time. We lost an icon. This video is about Chadwick Boseman. Welcome to A Tough Act to Follow. I'm Preston, aka the Ploominator, and I'm here to shine the spotlight on a legend who left us far too soon. So come with me as we explore the talent and majesty of a 21st century icon. Chadwick Boseman made a career playing black icons, and in the process, he turned into one himself. His passing on August 28, 2020 stripped us of one of the greatest actors of a generation, far earlier than we were prepared to lose him. He had more stories to tell and more moments to live. So let's take some time to remember a truly talented performer who made each and every role he brought to life unique, memorable, and iconic. And let's pay tribute to a man who will forever be a tough act to follow.
Keep on back! 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 Keep on back!
Chadwick Boseman has been cementing himself as a household name for the past decade. And when you really start to break down what exactly it is he does on screen, it's no surprise he's so good. His ability to maneuver between drastically different and fully realized characters is truly empowering to watch. Each character has clear intentions from the start of the film to the end, and the fact that he made a majority of his most noted works while battling cancer makes everything that we've seen that much more impressive. So what is it that Chadwick does so well? Well, quite a few things, but first and foremost, he portrays what I like to call layers of intentions. I've talked about intentions before. It's the thing that an actor wants from another character, but Chadwick layers them on top of each other. That shows an outward appearance that doesn't always match what he's thinking inside. What I'm saying is, he can be thinking one thing, saying one thing, but clearly wanting something different. And he does this in every movie, but it's shown first and foremost in 42, where he plays Jackie Robinson.
With the white Brooklyn Dodgers. I'll pay you $600 a month. And a $3,500 bonus when you sign the contract. Is that agreeable?
Yes, that's fine.
Jackie is being offered the chance of a lifetime, and while you can see that he really wants to say yes, the struggle he's faced his whole life is holding him back. And he's not allowed to feel the full joy of the opportunity from this moment. You can see the history that Jackie's had with white people, and how there's always something else. It's never that simple. And you can watch as Chadwick goes through the emotions, trying to figure out exactly what to think and what to say in order to both be accepting, but not to push it to a point where he's upset people as he has in the past. And this occurs throughout the movie. Jackie spends so much time keeping himself controlled and held back that when he finally does get a moment to let off steam, he really unleashes and fully commits to that moment. But you can still see him conveying what he's thinking, and the frustration is generated from a place of thought rather than a place of pure emotion. And this leads me to the second thing that Chadwick does so well. It's that he has absolutely precise control over his posture and his movements. I've talked about this in the past with other actors, but Chadwick takes it to another level. Whether he's playing someone who is physically powerful or physically weak, emotionally powerful or emotionally weak, strength and vulnerability in equal measure. The physicality becomes an integral part of the work, just as his vocal abilities and his intentions do. Now, I could talk about the power and nobility of T'Challa or the raw athleticism of Jackie Robinson, but the biggest moment for me is not the one where he stands and walks around. It's where he lets loose and dances. The movement in this scene is so fluid and striking, and when it's held up against the actual performances of James Brown, it's nearly identical at times. And you know it's Chadwick because of the way the camera moves past his face. He could have easily had a double, as many actors in scenes that involve dancing and choreography do, but he didn't. He committed to doing it himself, and it makes the role that much more impressive. And this isn't just physically changing, it goes into his voice too. Chadwick is so damn good at vocal transformations that many people have actually been unsure of what his real accent is. He's learned how to speak in these different tones and cadences, and to not only transform in a way that's physical, but in a way that's vocal, and that makes us just understand that he's a different person purely from the way he sounds. And he does this not just in changing accents and tones, but also in the way that his voice ages over time. In Get On Up, he ages as the story goes, and when we get to the end of the story, it's a much older sound and a much older energy, while still being the same character that we saw in the more youthful portions of the story.
Now imagine, unhitching your pants. As you open the door to your master bathroom, you see me, James Brown, just
Sitting there, taking a break. What would you do?
And it's that power that really keeps an actor like Chadwick so timeless. He hardly seems to age throughout any of the movies, and even at the end appears both younger and older than before at times. And he's really been able to play a wide variety of characters as a result. And even when he's paired up with a group of actors who are far senior to him in age, he fits in flawlessly. He manages to be the grounded center of widely diverse ensembles because he has such a powerful presence and creates fully realized characters who are dynamic in every moment.
Talking about Dr. King. We're talking about a man of peace.
And that's what got Dr. King killed.
I'm as mad as everybody. All us Bloods got a right to be, but we Bloods don't let nobody use our rage against us.
And it's not just his ability to hold his own and be in the spotlight. Chadwick also has a really strong ability to read people and live in the moment. In each of his roles, he's constantly observing, studying, taking mental notes of everything and processing all the information in real time. As actors, we often know the outcome of a scene, but we can't play it that way. If we play the ending, there are no stakes. We, as the actors, have to live in the character who doesn't know what the outcome is going to be. Chadwick does this constantly by always looking for a way to shift the dynamic and the outcome of the scene in his character's favor. And even in roles drenched in historical knowledge, he still plays them with the ferocity of someone who has no idea what could happen or what will happen in the future. And that's allows him to really balance and react off his scene partners believably. I've seen a lot of other people do this in other movies, but Chadwick does it on a level that can't even be described.
Why you keep asking me that?
I never asked you that before. Did you have sex with her? Speak, goddammit.
I told you I didn't.
She says she was in that car when it got stopped. You hear her say that in court?
I heard, but she's lying.
No. She's not lying.
But even as he's reading people intensely, he knows how to do it in a way that also makes the scenes comedic. He knows how to allow for that release of tension. If a movie's filled with an absolute intense moment from start to finish, it's going to be exhausting. We're going to walk out both emotionally drained and physically drained sometimes depending on how the movie goes. But if you insert small moments of comedy that don't always have to be a big belly laugh, sometimes they can be very simple and very subtle, it increases our ability to watch the movie for a prolonged period of time. And Chadwick knows how to drop jokes in that subtle way, while neither breaking the mood of the film or disrupting the flow of the scene or altering the belief of the character.
I don't know much about them, the colored. We don't have too many in Stratford.
Excused.
But above everything else, the moment that really sells Chadwick is his ability to connect with his fellow actors. He can do this in ways that include loving someone, being spiteful of them, jealous, having a rival, or even fighting someone for an entire movie based on different ideologies. The connection is still there. He makes these connections with the other actors and allows them to have an honest trade-off of discussion between them. It's something a good leader does too, not just taking over everyone, but honestly taking the time to let the ideas be presented by all sides. And in an acting situation, it means that we allow each person to shine when they need to and fade when they need to. And even in the tensest of scenes, it can take a moment that may be stereotypical in other contexts and make it completely genuine and one of the most emotionally impactful moments in the movie.
Because they knew death was better than bondage.
And this leads me to my final point on Chadwick. It's that he stands out in everything I've mentioned before when he's completely silent. It's easy to do a lot of these things when you have dialogue to back it up. It's much harder to do it when you're only presenting your physical presence. Connecting with someone silently and without language is so much more difficult to read, and Chadwick knows how to make it look simple but effective. He really knows how to commit thoroughly to really hold his own without saying a single word sometimes.
Did he freeze?
Like an antelope in headlights.
Are you finished?
So why has Chadwick become such an icon of the cinema? 1. Chadwick layers his intentions. He's constantly examining the room he's in and playing layers deeper than anyone else on the screen. He allows himself to flourish by knowing that behind every look, gesture, and word are dozens of thoughts. And by keeping them moving, the character is more complex and more interesting. 2. Chadwick is fully committed. He engages physically to define a character through posture and movement, and then vocally to keep them identifiable and distinct, while never pushing beyond anything that feels real or grounded. He's fully invested and also fully real. 3. Chadwick can transform. He's able to play numerous ages, classes, types of people, and he can make each one feel as real as the last. And by doing so, he carries himself timelessly through each role, where he feels like he's been a constant presence that will never age. 4. Chadwick lives in the moment. He never plays the end of a scene, and he observes the world around him in real time. He's constantly alert and he's living in his surroundings with all of his senses, and as a result, his reactions and observations make the world of the movie that much more real for the audience. 5. Chadwick connects with his co-stars. He always plays off of their delivery and their choices and allows them to alter some of his own in the process, and he does everything to fit the scene rather than to overpower and lead it the way he wants it to go. His connections allow deeper results between the characters and higher stakes in the movie. So maybe you've missed some of the best Chadwick Boseman movies in his lifetime, and now you want to see why the world is mourning him so deeply. Well, I would recommend starting here. These are my 5 essential Chadwick Boseman performances. 1. 42. The first in a series of movies where Chadwick plays black historical figures. His raw physicality as baseball legend Jackie Robinson allows him to excel in this talented ensemble, and his ability to play deep with his intentions really grounds each moment and keeps the stakes high. 2. Get on up. In a major contrast from 42, Chadwick transforms into the godfather of soul himself, James Brown. His work is vibrant and explosive, his personality is dynamic, and his commitment to dance himself allows him to be much looser physically than many of his other roles, with a continued energy that keeps this biopic moving forward. Plus, the music is just as iconic as the performance. 3. Da 5 Bloods. Another Spike Lee joint and the last film released in Chadwick's lifetime. His ability to stand up against a far more seasoned group of actors and really command the scene makes this drama about brotherhood and redemption a hard but necessary watch. And Chadwick's final moments in this film will make you realize just how iconic of a performer he was. 4. Marshall. This is the 3rd biographical picture, and for good reason. His work as future Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall is controlled and wholly dynamic. It allows him to make bold statements with sometimes limited dialogue and shows just how commanding and smart Chadwick was as a performer and as the character. 5. Black Panther. If you're only going to watch one Chadwick Boseman performance, make it this one. His role as T'Challa will be forever cemented in cinematic history, and Chadwick will endear himself as an icon just as spectacular as the ones he's played before. He truly becomes the king of Wakanda with this noble, strong, and flawless performance, and to know that he did it while battling stage 4 colon cancer will make it that much more impressive. Rest in power, Wakanda forever. And that is why Chadwick Boseman is a tough act to follow.